We're looking at over 50 cards, including a bunch of new legendaries. Let's do this.
What's up, Illuminators? It's Charlie and Matthias back with more news, more card reveals. This time we have over 50 to look at, so let's waste no time and jump straight into it. Okay, so let's kick things off with Amber. So we have Gazelle Popstar, a 3-cost inkable, 2/3 that quests for 2, and she has the Singer 5 ability. Once we saw that reveal video for Shimmering Skies with Gazelle on the stage, we knew she was coming,
Yes.
and here she is. This is such a beautiful card, and Singer 5 ability, very good. Is she better than Ariel? I'm afraid I don't think so, because she doesn't let you dig for a song, but she does quest for 2.
Yeah, it's a choice, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure she's even as good as Gaston, who is the 3/3.
Yes.
He has a little bit more strength, but maybe in an Amber deck focused really on aggro and a bit of singing, she might find a spot.
I think I'm just a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see her as a legendary for Amber.
Yeah,
Obviously, we saw all the legendaries, or we're seeing all the legendaries right now.
Oh, yeah.
But she's pretty. I'm glad she's here.
Yeah, finally.
I'm glad there's more Zootopia.
Yeah, give us more. All right, so we have Blast from Your Past. This is a 6-cost uninkable song. Name a card. Return all character cards with that name from your discard to your hand, which seems like a pretty powerful ability. Of course, when cards mention names, it's the big name on the card, not the sub name underneath. So something like Merlin Rabbit, Merlin Goat, Merlin Crab. If you say Merlin, then you get all of those back in your hand. So that is like a crazy good way to refill your hand.
It's actually insane.
It is insane.
Yeah. It's interesting to see as well. That's the second song super rare, right? We had a whole new word in the first set.
That's right.
I love this card. It's just insane.
We still haven't seen a legendary song yet or a legendary action. So it's going to be interesting.
That is true. Well, we have... Yeah, no, we did. We saw the Enchanted song with Zeus, but not the action. Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
Maybe one day, maybe this set.
What do you think is a good synergy for this then? So you're saying if you're playing especially Amethyst, Amber?
I think so if people start building tribal decks, so decks built around a character, so something like Merlin, then this really works. If you have a deck that has lots of different characters, this card instantly loses its value.
Yeah.
Unless you have like some really powerful characters you want to recur this way, because it is recurring a lot of characters, which is really nice. But in terms of synergy, it's a 6-cost song. Currently, we don't have any 6-cost singers, right? Or do we? Sorry, that was so cheesy. We're going to go over to the first of 2 legendaries from Amber. This is Prince Naveen, ukulele player. He's a 4-cost uninkable 3/3, and he has the ability Singer 6. So already seeing some cards such as Blast from Your Past, which are going to be working well with Prince Naveen. And he has an ability which I think is pretty crazy. It's beautiful, no? When you play this character, you may play a song with cost 6 or less for free. So as soon as you put Prince Naveen on the table, then you can immediately cast Blast from Your Past and bring back some characters. Bring back all of those Merlins and restock your hand with him. So
great synergy with Ario as well, obviously.
Great synergy. Well. I think that's quite an interesting thing, because Ariel, Sensational Singer, she is played on turn 3, which will allow you to grab a song. So you could grab something like A Whole New World, grab your swords, and then you play Prince Naveen on turn 4, and he can already sing that song for you for free, which will then leave Ariel available to do something else, or vice versa. She can sing the song and he can sing another song. So I think pretty cool card. I like this one a lot. I think this is probably going to be a card that sees plenty of play in song decks.
Yeah. Still Song is getting a lot of power for this set. I feel like for the previous set, they didn't give as much value. Now they're coming back in full force, so it's very nice to see. And I'm all for a Prince Naveen legendary. Like, this is the right card. This is so pretty. And of course, you saw his debut on the revealing video.
And I think it's really interesting the way they've chosen to frame it, with him like almost leaning out of the card. It's like really pushing that
it's even
those
more
legendary cards pushing past the borders.
It's beautiful job.
Yeah, I love this card. And another legendary for Amber, we have Mirabelle Madrigal, Family Gatherer. She's a 5-cost inkable 5/5 that quests for 5 lore, which is unbelievable. So she has the ability, not without my family. You can't play this character unless you have 5 or more characters in play. So that kind of justifies the 5 lore. You really need to have that wide board in order to be able to play her to take full advantage of her 5 lore. Is it going to be that playable? I'm not so sure. It's inkable, which is nice. So if you can't get a wide board, then you can just ink her. But it is difficult to get 5 characters on the board. I think if you do, manage to get 5 characters on the board, this is really there to just help you close the game.
Yeah, it's really hard because obviously by that time, if you're using loads of minions of drop 1, by the time you will play her in the next turn, likely your opponent can clear you up with steel decks, so it is very scary.
Yeah.
But it could work with the Madrigal synergy. I'm curious, especially the Madrigal, all the cards coming from that. It's funny, you've probably seen so many memes online with the lore 5, because they're saying how it's the first time we use that language of having a 5. It's so tiny.
I think the UX designer in me saw that and was like shuddering.
Why is it not bigger?
I wish the 5 was the same size as the other 5s on the card, maybe, or just even finding a different way to configure the lore, if it's like 2 columns or something.
Yeah.
I think from a player experience, if you're sitting across the board and someone plays that, it's a lot harder to recognize that this character has 5 lore versus when you can see all of the different lore.
And that's going to evolve. That's the thing, right? So we're going to see 6, we're going to see 7 potentially. So not knowing what that number is very hard in the future. But hopefully they'll change.
At least it's scalable. I guess the other like the 4 lore pips, it was kind of reaching its limit, and now there's a solution for 5. But I'm still like, I wish it was bigger.
Yeah.
And in terms of synergy, I think the big synergy people were mentioning online, which I think is a really good one, is with the Queen Disguised Peddler. So she allows you to exert, discard a card, and then gain lore equal to that character's lore. So you could, use the Queen, and then on turn 4 be discarding Mirabelle if you're not able to get her out, and then gaining 5 lore. So I think that combo could be quite nice.
That is true, yeah.
In some Amber Emerald aggro decks.
We had covered some news about this card, so check the link just up here, where we talk about this card being the new promo card for the set championship.
Yes.
So check it out. We won't take your time from this video. We cover the full one.
But if you don't want to tune into that one, the biggest headline, I think, is that this card is going to be awarded to the top 8.
Exactly.
So that is huge news
and
for
it's a beautiful art
collectors.
for the enchanted promo card.
We have Revive, a 5-cost uninkable action. Play a character card with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. I think that is really cool. First of all, it gives Amber a little bit of protection from discard. So if your opponent has made you discard a 5-cost character, you can return them into play straight away. It definitely feels like a card that you're going to want to use with something like the legendary Mufasa. If he's banished, you can then keep bringing him back, which we've seen already with the likes of Hades anyway. And this is an action that's going to let you play him into the field. Basically, this is like playing a 5-cost character for 5, the way it functions, because it's an action and not a song.
But it's just picking from your discard pile.
Exactly, but it's picking from your discard. So Whole New World if that's discarded cards, Emerald if that's discarded cards. Okay, and then next up we have Healing Touch. This is a 3-cost inkable action. Remove up to 4 damage from chosen character, draw a card. I'm not so sure about this one. We have, of course, Heal What Has Been Heard from set 3, which was a song, 3-cost that allows you to remove up to 3 damage, and then draw a card. So this allows you to remove 1 more point of damage, but I think the fact that it's an action and not a song, it can't be sung, it kind of removes some of the utility of that. I think Heal What Has Been Heard is a card that really doesn't see play. Yeah. And I can't see someone choosing to put Healing Touch in a deck
above it and still see play. Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one. Although just giving a shout to the Illuminateers, they did an amazing review for this card. Check their Instagram, YouTube, or all the places that they post that. It's just a very, very funny and a lot of effort put into that. So check it out. Yes,
absolutely. Up next, we have Maid Marian, Mistress of the Ranks. She's a 6-cost inkable 4/5 that quests for 2 with the ability If the Lady Wills It. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -5 strength until the start of your next turn. Reminiscent, I think, of Maid Marian from set 3, which in Sapphire, which was a 5-cost 4/4 quest for 2 that allows you to reduce an opponent's strength by -2. Again, like we always think, have similar cards seen play? No. Could this one see play? I'm not so sure. I think it works in drafts and sealed tournaments.
It's very similar. It's more expensive. Obviously, you're getting more advantage out of it, but I still don't think you'll see a lot of play.
But love the art. Always happy to see.
I love seeing Maid Marian. I want more Maid Marian. That's also a chance to say you're seeing that this has been translated by us. We said that in the previous video. We're just trying to make your lives easier. But obviously, this is not the original card. So the original card was announced in German.
Yeah, and so the text may not be 100% accurate, but every time we have translated, we will drop a disclaimer down below so you know. So there's no confusion between what's real and what's translated. But
we just put the text, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Another card we have is a location card. This is Pridelands Jungle Oasis. It's a 3-cost inkable, a move cost of 2 and a willpower of 8. And it gives you 1 law per turn. And it has the ability, Our Humble Home. While you have 3 or more characters here, you may banish this location to play a character from your discard for free. So we're getting a little bit more character recursion for Amber, which is really cool to see. It's certainly one of the defining factors, I think, of this ink color. Always great when a location gives you lore, because then it's giving you a little bit of double utility. Do I think it's a good card? I'm not so sure. No. I think the reality is you end up paying 6 in order to... because you need to move 3 characters there.
After you pay 3.
After you pay 3 for the location. So you're paying 9 basically to get 1 character from your discard. If we compare this to the song we saw right at the start, I think the song is way better. It can allow you to bring multiple. It costs 6 and it can be sung.
And the synergy is way better.
So it's a bit of a shame, but I'm not too high.
It's probably also worth saying, because you could think, we could trigger and bring Mirabelle, but no, the condition of Mirabelle, even if you're playing something for free, her condition to hit the board is still the 5 characters there, and that goes above everything else, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think that is the one thing this location has, is that you can actually play that character. So even though it costs 9, you could potentially bring like a Chernobog back and then play him for free, but really you are paying 9 for a character from your discard, which is like, I don't think it's worth it myself. But another location, I think this one is a little bit more interesting. We have Rapunzel's Tower Secluded Prison. This is a 2-cost inkable, move cost of 1, willpower of 8, with the ability Safe and Sound. Characters get +3 willpower while here. Very reminiscent of Pridelands, Pride Rock, which also give you plus strength, but without the kind of the lore gain and the ability to play characters cheaper. Even so, giving a character +3 willpower, allowing them to survive longer, especially those squishier aggro characters, I think is really cool. The 8 willpower, we know, is an important one for locations. It means it can't just be one shot by something like Maui, so it will stick around. And it also has great synergy with any of the healing, like the Rapunzel gifted with healing. You can give your character more willpower than they would normally have, and then you're able to heal for more than you normally would. Like you could even put something like a Simba bodyguard here and be able to get the full 3 heals from Rapunzel gifted with healing. Nice and easy. On to the next one. We have Healing Decanter. This is a 2-cost inkable item with the ability Renewing Essence. Exert this item, remove up to 2 damage from chosen characters. So we're seeing more items that remove damage from chosen characters. We actually saw in the last news video the Amber Chromacon, which is to remove 1 damage from each of your characters. And I think if you think in terms of the synergy with something like Grandpappy, which is, I think, the main thing you think of when you see these healing items.
That's better.
The Chromacon is way better, because you can heal multiple characters and gain lore from all of them, versus just removing 2 from 1. We've got to have healing items every set, I guess. Here's the one for this set.
Well, some trivia, right? So we noticed that Joshua Sweet, in one of his cards, he's holding both the jar that Minnie is holding in the set, but on the other hand, he's actually holding this decanter. So I think he's pouring the liquid from the decanter to the bottle, right? I'm going to show on screen right now. But always nice to see those items unique from Disney Lorcana carrying on across the different cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Up next, we have another item, this time Queen's Sensor Core, which is a hard one to say. Yes. This is a 2-cost inkable with 2 abilities. The first one is Symbol of Nobility. At the start of your turn, if you have a princess or queen character in play, gain 1 lore. And the second ability, Royal Search, exert, pay 2, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a princess or queen character card, you may put it into your hand, otherwise put it on the top of your deck. So it's like, I love anything that has multiple utilities. It just makes things feel a lot more fun. I think the first ability, the Symbol of Nobility, it works quite well. There are lots of queens and princesses in Amber. It's a way to generate some passive lore, like in an aggro deck where you need to be just kind of getting as much lore as you can and hopefully being a bit resistant to board wipes from your opponent. You can drop a couple of princesses and then you can be gaining 1 lore every turn. Of course, the ability doesn't stack. It's a conditional ability. If you have a princess or queen, gain 1 lore. If you don't, gain 0 lore. And then the second ability is just more card draw for Amber. It synergizes well with the first ability. So if you're building a deck really focused around princesses and queens, then you're going to be getting double duty out of this item. Outside of those decks, I mean, maybe it works in Steel Song. Most of the characters are princesses and queens, but I still think I think it has a place. I think it can make princess decks stronger.
Yeah.
a maybe like viable one day.
And it's quite a cheap card as well if you want to play early on to start building that one lore possibly. And then if you're brave enough to have 2 of those, then you are earning 2 because then you're earning for each card. Yeah. I do have a trivia actually. I'm sure you don't know this one actually. So on Discord, on the Disney Lorcana Discord, they have a section that is about lore narrative. Apparently, they were really struggling to give a name to this card. They didn't know. Yeah, they didn't know. Is it to do with the queen? How can we do something that is related to queen and princesses? So a lot of the users are actually suggesting different names. But yeah, it's interesting to think about the whole development process.
Yeah.
And they said that at the end of the day, they were running out of time. And they said we have to go with a name. They picked this one, and that's the one we got.
Interesting. And this is an item unique for Lorcana, right? This isn't from the films. So that makes it harder as well.
So it's funny. We go through this process so much in the game development, so we know, oh my god, we're running out of time. Okay, let's pick one, and that's it.
This definitely sounds like a designer named it.
It does.
Okay, and then we're gonna look at a really, really cool card for Amber. This is Alan Adil, Rockin' Rooster, a 4-cost inkable 2/3 that quests for 2, with the ability fan favorite. Whenever you play a song, gain 1 lore.
I love this card so much.
I love this card. Like honestly, you could put anything from Robin Hood. You could put an arrow from Robin Hood, and I would love it.
Yes.
But this is a really, really cool card. Beautiful card.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has a similar ability to Sleepy's Flute, so getting you 1 lore when you play a song. The good thing about this is if you play 5 songs in a turn, you're going to be gaining 5 lore. So it synergizes with Prince Naveen that we already saw. He quests for 2 as well, which isn't something that you can overlook. So he is kind of not only giving you the lore from songs, he's giving you the lore from questing as well. And the art is just crazy beautiful in this one.
Should we put those into our tracker?
Let's update the tracker.
So I actually learned I need to point towards you. That's where the tracker is. So down.
We're learning. It only took us, 10 videos?
10 videos. It's getting there. It's the whole mirror aspect. But let's go to Amethyst, because that's what people want to see next.
Okay, so we have Hypnotic Strength, a 2-cost inkable action. Draw a card. Chosen character gains Challenger +2 this turn. It's pretty nice to see an action that's letting you draw a card. That's always something that's going to be useful in sealed. It's going to be useful in competitive decks. I'm not so sure.
It's not bad. Yeah. It's not bad. It gives the challenger as well, but again, it's hard to tell at this stage if it was used or not.
Yeah, I suppose it lets you finish off a location. Maybe sometimes with some characters draw a card as well.
But would you have that in your deck? That's the thing, because you don't
so.
know, right?
So.
It is cool. There's some hints of this Hypnotic Strength actually hypnotizing Basil. We'll see later.
Yeah, exactly.
The review.
Yeah, exactly.
And also you see some more hints of Jafar coming late in this video. So check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff coming together in this story. Should we talk about the new legendary for Amethyst?
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about this one because it's Camillo Madrigal and not Bruno, even though it looks like Bruno. This is Camillo Madrigal, family copycat, a 6-cost inkable 3/7 that quests for 1, with the ability Imitate. Whenever this character quests, you may gain lore equal to the lore of chosen other character of yours. Return that character to your hand. I think that's a pretty cool card for a legendary.
Again, if you're playing that Umber Amethyst scenario, if you do bring Mirabelle into play here, there's a way to quest for 5 with Mirabelle, quest with him for another 5, bounce Mirabelle back to your hand to protect her, and then start the process again. Obviously, because of the condition of Mirabelle being so necessary with your board, it might be hard to do that another time in a row. But you're getting 10 lores already there. I almost feel like for a late game that could come.
If you can pull off that synergy for sure, I think it's very difficult to set up. One of the challenges is this is an on-quest ability rather than an on-play ability.
Yeah, that is true.
So
forget what I said.
Yeah. No, but you said a quest, and I think those on-quest abilities always make it a little bit harder. The 7 willpower is good, but of course 3 strength means that it's well within Medusa range.
That is the problem. Yeah.
So even if you get this card on the board, it might not stick. So maybe struggling a bit with this legendary.
Unless we're protecting him with other cards that are giving you more strength.
That's true. Yeah.
But still, it's very situational at that point.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it does have nice energy with the bounce package. So.
Yes.
And up next, we have Anna. She is a Mystical Majesty, a 7-cost uninkable 4/5 that quests for 2. She is Floodborn. It's a Floodborn Anna, finally. It's really cool to see it. She'll shift in at 4, and she has the ability Exceptional Power. When you play this character, exert all opposing characters, which is very cool. A very, very powerful ability. Crazy, it's the rare. And not the legendary. Of course, reminiscent of her sister Elsa, Elsa gets to exert one character and they can't ready. In Anna's case, she exerts everyone, but they can ready at the start of the next turn. I think when we saw the other Anna, the enthusiastic disciple, we figured that we'd probably be seeing a Floodborn Anna coming, and here she is.
There she is. It's interesting to see that in this narrative she's taking on almost like Elsa's role, right?
Yeah.
The outfit is more or less Elsa's. I think she's getting that power from Elsa, but she still can't freeze, which is fair. This is all for Elsa herself. I love this card. It's a beautiful card. I don't know if I would play this card.
Maybe.
I feel like it's so expensive. It is uninkable. I don't know, but maybe I'll be wrong because I do love all the exerting synergies from Amethyst.
But the good thing is it's on play, so even if she doesn't stick to the board, you get the benefits out of it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure I will play in a team deck. I don't know if I'll play in a competitive deck.
There we go.
But there you go. It's beautiful.
Next up, we have the Library, a gift for Belle. This is a 3-cost inkable location. It's got a move cost of 1, a willpower of 8, and it gives 1 law per turn. And it has the ability Lost in a Book. Whenever a character is banished while here, you may draw a card.
I think I have a lot to say about that, because obviously the first thought that comes to your head is the Queen's Castle. The Queen's Castle, I think, is still a stronger card because of the double lore. You can pile your characters inside. But the interesting part about the library is all the different synergies you can do here, if you think about it. Because the Queen's Castle, you still have to take a turn and come back to you to get the benefits out of that. So your character can be destroyed somehow or banished. Your location can be destroyed or banished. Here, if you do that sequence right, you can get the benefits of drawing in the same turn. So imagine if you're putting like even like the brooms that when you are playing another character you banish. Because it's banishing. It doesn't mean banishing a challenge. It's any sort of banishing. So I could use a Chernobog inside, move inside for 1. Quest with the Chernobog, banish as part of the skill, the ability, and I draw 2 cards, one from Chernobog,
really
one
cool.
from the library. The same for the broom, right? Or even, and that's a question for you because you're more knowledgeable, because things are checked at the end of the turn. Could I potentially, if I feel like there is a need for that, use Madamine Snake without any target? Because the ability of Madamine Snake is if you play the card without a target, you banish the card. Could I move that before getting banished?
No, Madamine would have to resolve fully
first before I can move. Okay, so that's bad. But if you could do that, imagine just bringing that in, banishing and getting that card. But it's just, for me, it's the keyword is the banishing. It's the earning in the same turn you play.
Yeah, one fun thing you could do is if you know you need to hit a Be Prepared on the board, you could move all of your characters into here first.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't need to wait until your turn. It's a way to protect you and earn all those cards. And I think it's very important for some cards that are coming next in Emerald. We need that additional card draw. And it is a 8 willpower. So it is better willpower.
Yeah.
It is a 3 cost instead of 4. So you get that earlier. And you still earn 1 passive lore. I'm all for that.
Yeah, and I think this is a card, if you see it in draft, just grab it. This is going to be one of the best cards for drafting and sealed. So
I want to hear you, though. Do you think you still prefer Queen's Castle?
I think I prefer Queen's Castle just because it's 2 law, but I think this card is very good as well.
For the things we said, yeah.
Maybe not as enthusiastic as
I am so excited. I will have both. This was announced by B Squared, by the way, so don't forget to check their announcement.
Very
the
cool
library
card. And then we're going to see some more Sword in the Stone, which is amazing. This and Robin Hood, I will never get tired of seeing characters from these films.
Yes.
We have Archimedes, Exasperated Owl, which is perfect. He's a 3-cost inkable 2/2 that quests for 2. And he has evasive. I think pretty good, pretty standard. We've seen a lot of these kind of similar stat line characters. The main function I think Archimedes is going to take on is as a shift target for Archimedes Electrified Owl. He has a 5-cost inkable 1/4 that quests for 2. Floodborn. He can shift in at 3 on a character called Archimedes. He also has evasive. He also quests for 2. But he also has Challenger +3, so he can kind of be there as kind of a flex depending what you need to do. If you need to challenge something, you can do that. Or if you need to quest, he can.
Because you're protected by evasive. So
exactly. Four willpower is good. It's going to avoid most steal songs. He is, of course, going to be a target for the likes of Brawl and for Medusa. But I think this is a really cool card. I think another one that, grab it in draft, it could be quite difficult for your opponent to deal with.
Yeah.
Next up, another card that I know Mattis is very excited about. This is Magicka Dispel, Cruel Sorceress, a 4-cost inkable 2/5 that quests for 1, with the ability Playing with Power during your opponent's turn, and that is very important. We're going to look at a card later that this doesn't work with. During your opponent's turn, if an effect would cause you to discard one or more cards from your hand, you don't discard. So as soon as I saw this, I messaged the guy who beat me in the finals of the said championship with a Bucky deck, and I said, where was this when I needed it? Because this card is super cool. It kind of protects you from a lot of that emerald discard that is going around. So that is really cool. There's some fun synergy. Do you want to talk about
No,
this?
I think you can go ahead, but I think A Whole New World has a completely different take now.
Yes.
Because of that.
So with A Whole New World, you now wouldn't discard the hand you have, but you would still draw 7 new cards. So it means that it kind of protects you a little bit. You're not going to be losing your really good cards when your opponent hits Whole New World. I think the only issue I have with this is the card itself is maybe not the best. Like it has stats alone. The ability I think is great. The card itself isn't that great. So if you end up playing someone who doesn't have Whole New World, who's not trying to discard you, then you're basically playing a 4-cost character that doesn't really do much. Which is the only downside. But she's inkable, so you just maybe those are the matches you ink her if you don't need her.
I think I would still have her just to be on the safe side, because sometimes we don't know where you're going against, right? But I wish she had at least 3 strength just to dodge brawl. At least that. I know that we cannot ask too much. Only those that will take her down, but at least 3.
Yeah, but I think if Medusa's taking her down, then she's probably, you're not even playing the deck you need.
No, exactly.
Anyway.
That is true,
yeah, so I do like this card. I do think if discard becomes like a menace in the metagame, then every Amethyst deck is going to be running this. Up next, so we have the White Rabbit Royal Herald. He's a 3-cost inkable 3/4 vanilla. That quest for 1.
Next.
Yeah, I think not much to say about this one. We have so many cards to cover. Let's not spend too much time. Okay, so next up we have Elsa's Ice Palace, Place of Solitude, a 3-cost uninkable location, a move cost of 1, willpower of 4, and it gives you 1 lore per turn with the ability Eternal Winter. When you play this location, choose an exerted character. While this location is in play, that character can't ready at the start of their turn. Very cool ability. It's another location that doesn't require you to have characters there. It is just giving its ability passively, and it also gives you lore, so it's kind of doing 2 things at once. The idea of locking down a character on turn 3 is actually pretty cool. Like there's no other effect that does this, right?
No, I don't think so, because it's staying, right? It's passively staying. You don't need to have a character inside, right? So it's really cool. I think it's only the way you play this, you have to first wait some character to be exerted, so there's that negative side, but it's always exerted, right? We're kidding. Then we can play that. I bet my soul, and I hope I'm right, that this is going to get an enchanted because of what it represents, and because we never had an enchanted Amethyst location.
Oh, is that right?
And this is a rare, so I think it's going to get. And I hope for my good soul that this happens, but it's a beautiful card.
Okay, so next up we have Maleficent Fearsome Queen. This is an 8-cost uninkable 7/7 that quests for 2. She's Floodborn, so she shifts in at 6. And she has the ability, everyone listen, sorry. And again, this is a translation, so it may not be correct, but everyone listen, we think. When you play this character, for each character in Maleficent you have in play, return chosen opposing character, item, or location with cost 3 or less to their player's hand. So you always guarantee at least 1, because this is a Maleficent. If you have multiple Maleficents, if you're building a deck all around Maleficents, then potentially you can bounce back quite a lot of characters, items, and locations in that case. So for people who are fans of Poor Unfortunate Souls from the previous set, this is a similar effect. It's giving Amethyst a way to remove items and locations a little bit more easily. The fact that it's kind of locked at that 3 cost is a little bit of a shame, unfortunately, because it does limit what you can remove. But she does have pretty good stats for what she is. There are plenty of shift targets for her. I think it probably slots into like an Amethyst Emerald kind of tempo deck. So right now the legendary
with all the Maleficents, the low cost ones.
So I think that's maybe the home this finds. Probably is like a 1 of or a 2 of if you can get the shift in. But
she looks insane though.
Okay, and last up for Amethyst we have We Know the Way. This is a 3-cost inkable song. Shuffle chosen character card from your discard into your deck. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it has the same name as the chosen card, you may play the revealed card for free. Otherwise, put it in your hand. That's a lot. First things first, this was revealed by our good friend Rebecca, Lorcana.illuminary over on Instagram.
So go check it out.
So definitely check her out.
The reveal was amazing. It was like many really parts. It was a full thing.
I think every content creator is like stepping each other up. So if Ravensburger ever wants to let us reveal a card,
they never chose us.
We'll have to really try.
We'll learn from all those we saw. But again, amazing. So check it out on Instagram. It's super, super cool. Yeah.
I'll talk
about the card.
The card is very cool. It, of course, synergizes with Merlin. Like we said previously, it is the big name on the card, so you could take a Merlin out of your discard, and maybe you'll have a good chance of hitting it. But really, it's going to be in those tribal decks built around like a specific character where this shines.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it works a lot with brooms as well.
Yeah, absolutely. In a broom deck, this is fantastic. This might be something that goes in our casual broom deck, and we've got to say, every time there's a Moana card, we tell some story about how we worked on the Moana Disney Infinity game, and actually, We Know the Way was the first song we ever heard for Moana, so it does
before it got released
while we were working on the game, so it does always bring a tear to our eye. We had like a mini game in the game where you sailed in the sea, and this was the song, so I probably heard this for like 100 hours on loop as we tested that part.
And we still love it.
We still love it. And we'll stop rambling, and the track has already been updating whilst we talk, just to save some time, and we will now jump over to Emerald.
Let's do this, because I'm terrified.
So as we mentioned previously, Basil has been hypnotized, and we see it here. Hypnotic Deduction, a 2-cost inkable action. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on the top of your deck in any order, which is actually a really interesting ability. I don't think we've seen anything like that. So you're basically getting to, if you have high-cost cards in your hand that you know you're not going to be able to play for maybe a turn or two, you can use this as a way of keeping them, not discarding them, not getting rid of them, but putting them back onto your hand, onto your deck, to then draw them a little bit later when you need them. So I actually think this is quite a cool one.
It's interesting because you're putting in any order from the top, but is there any order for the cards you're putting back? So you're not changing much. Right? You're
not changing much, but let's say in your mulligan, you get some really high cost cards that you're not going to be able to play. This is a way of being able to push
a couple of rounds after.
Push them back a little bit. So I think that's really cool. And as Matteo said, it does seem that Jafar has hypnotized Basil in order to find the Hexworld Crown.
So this time he is the one actually bringing this stuff to Jafar. But is Jafar the biggest villain? We shall see. Clarabelle!
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to look here at Clarabelle with a light hoof. She's a 7-cost inkable 5/6 that quests for 2. She's a floodbound, so she can shift in at 5. And she has the ability Keep the Pace. At the start of your turn, choose an opponent. If they have more cards in their hand than you, draw until you have as many cards as them, which is a cool ability. We saw this already with an action, Remember Who You Are, that allows you to do the same thing. This is Remember Who You Are attached to a body, which is always a good thing.
That quests for 2.
And she's inkable, so this is a card that I definitely see Emerald taking, giving them some card draw, allowing hopefully us to see a different identity in Emerald that isn't just around discard, because that is very contentious. If you're looking for a shift target, we do also have Clarabelle Contented Wallflower that we looked at a few weeks ago.
And it's an evolution of that ability,
It is, because she allows you to draw a card if your opponent has more cards. So.
And now it gives you all the cards. That's her flood bar form.
I'm secretly hoping Clarabelle is so good that every Emerald player plays her, so they don't want to discard anyone. Because I think it's much more fun drawing cards so that both players have loads of cards rather than just removing cards from the player's hand.
And I'm hoping she gets an enchanted.
And the reason we're talking about this is because we're going to see this card. This is Prince John's Mirror. Let's talk about it and then we'll complain about it.
Cry a little bit.
This is Prince John's Mirror, a 3-cost inkable item with 2 abilities. It has the first ability, You Look Regal. If you have a character named Prince John in play, you pay 1 less to play this item. And it also has the ability, A Feeling of Power. At the end of each opponent's turn, if they have more than 3 cards in their hand, they discard until they have 3 cards in their hand. So we thought we'd seen the end of super powerful discard mechanics in Emerald with Bucky getting his errata. And unfortunately, Ravensburger have decided to bless us with this.
Yeah, I actually think Bucky is the reflection of the mirror. It's not Prince John. It's just John. There.
I've got to say, like, there was a lot of discourse online. I definitely was commenting as well. I think this card is just nasty. I'm a little bit flabbergasted that a card like this would get printed, because the reality is, by turn 3, by turn 4, if you're on the draw, this is already forcing your opponent to only have 3 cards in hand. It is a little bit more flexible than Bucky, because you
have the turn to do something if you can.
Yeah, with Bucky, you wanted to almost not play cards so that you could get up to as much ink as you needed to deal with Bucky. With this, at least you have 3 cards and you're playing stuff on the board to kind of negate the negative effect. But I think it does punish decks that want to draw cards, of which there are a few. It is an item, so it's limit. There are not certain ink colors that can't remove it. Ruby can't remove it.
Amethyst can't remove really.
Amethyst can bounce. Amber can't remove it. So like a ruby amethyst deck, ruby amber deck, they cannot deal with this, so it puts them in a very difficult position. I honestly, I think it's super oppressive. Some people have said this is a bad card. I don't think it is a bad card. I think it's a very good card that I hope no one ever plays, just because I think it just feels bad. The discard mechanic in this game, because your cards are not just things you need to play, they're also your resource to be able to play more cards. So if an opponent is stripping those from you, it puts you into top deck mode very quick. And as we've seen, as we've all played, it's not fun to be part of those games. It's not fun to watch those games. And
it's just harder to deal than Bucky, right? Bucky was already a big problem for a lot of people, but this one for me is even harder to deal with in terms of taking out of the board. For the sense of how you act in the turn, I actually prefer this one. I like that I can still try to do something. The problem I have with this especially is that there is no cost associated to you to trigger that ability. I wish if they want this card, at least put an exert cost to that. It wouldn't change much, but at least do that. Maybe a 2-cost exert, because it's such a big effect, right?
And I feel like I would have made this card an inkable, because you only need one on the board to take an effect. So running too many in a deck is maybe not the best idea.
That's true.
That could have just balanced it out. I'm really not a fan. And I know people are saying, well, Bucky was worse because it would discard. But I just feel like you play this on 3, turn 4 in an amber emerald deck, you play You Have Forgotten Me and Sudden Chill, and now your opponent is already in top deck mode on turn 4, which is something that, unless Bucky got really the perfect draw, was difficult to achieve. I think this is a lot easier to set up. I'm sorry, I think this card is awful. I think it's going to be awful to play against.
I'm just happy that we don't need to deal with that in the DLC Toronto.
So that's okay. thank goodness it's
that's in the PT, so that's after.
This is
maybe we'll be some lucky. A big shout for Hobbies and Happiness. They announced this amazing card. I almost wish they hid the card and told Ravensburger that they imagined this card and they would design something else. Run for the hills with this card. But again, great announcement, so thanks for that.
And it's a Robin Hood card. We love to see Robin Hood cards, but I'm sorry, I do not enjoy this card. We have Scroop, Odious Mutineer, a 3-cost uninkable 2/1 that quests for 2. He has evasive, and he has the ability, do say hello to Mr. Arrow. When you play this character, you may pay 3 to banish chosen damaged character. Another one of those effects we're seeing where you can choose to pay for it when you play a character, which is nice. I think Scroop's stats are maybe a little on the low side. Of course, he does have evasive, but he is going to be basically popped by any steel songs. But being able to pay 3 to banish a character, I think is
damaged character.
A damaged character, of course,
which goes back to the emerald.
Because it's emerald. So I think that's quite a nice ability. It's nice to have some more hard removal.
It is interesting. I find interesting for being on super rare, because I actually don't think this card is that impressive. I actually don't, because you're relying on them being damaged as well. And it is an inkable, but it is cheap and it's evasive. So time will tell. At least we have more Treasure Planet cards.
More Treasure Planet cards.
I think that's the only one.
That's the only one so far this set. Hopefully we're going to see some more. We need more Jim Hawkins, guys. Come on. Okay, so we're going to look at some hyena characters now. We're finally getting the hyena characters that were promised to us in set 3. Starting off with Shenzi, Scar's Accomplice. A 3-cost inkable, 2/3 that quest for 1. Shenzi has evasive and the ability Easy Prey. This character gets +2 strength when challenging a damaged character. More payoff for that emerald damage kind of archetype. That's probably going to pair very well with steel. I think this is it's a really
and the synergy. I think the whole damage synergy to deal damage to damage characters is all about the narrative you see with all the different hyenas. It's just crazy. There's so many, and I feel like I got lost between them because I thought they looked similar. Some of them,
and there are a lot of duplicates there. So we're gonna look at another Shenzi. Head Hyena, a 5-cost inkable 3/6 that quests for 1. with 2 abilities. The first one, Stick Around for Dinner. This character gets +1 strength for each other hyena character you have in play. And the ability, What Have We Got Here? Whenever one of your hyena characters challenges a damage character, gain 2 law. So we can already see this synergizing with the previous Shenzi. She's going to get more strength if she's challenging a damage character, and then she's also going to gain +2 law. So that's like actually a really nice...
it is cool. It is super cool. Yeah. Nothing to say.
Yeah, and Shenzi's probably my favorite hyena. This is...
I like Ed the most.
Like I love it because it's Whoopi Goldberg, and I think her voice is just amazing. So
that is true. She's the lead, right?
She is the lead, the head hyena. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And we're gonna look at another hyena. This is probably my favorite of the arts for the hyenas. This is Banzai, Taunting Hyena. A 2-cost inkable, 2/2 that quests for 1, with the ability, Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. When you play this character, you may exert chosen damaged characters. So this is actually cool. This is something I think new for Emerald, being able to exert some characters. And it comes with the condition of them having to be damaged, but it's nice. It's an on-playability.
Do you think that's designed with Emerald still in place? So with
I feel like it has to be,
because how do you even do the damage before?
Yeah, Emerald doesn't really have those damage.
It's very still Emerald. Yeah.
But I suppose you can always be challenging with characters.
Of course, it just feels like it would work better for steel, right?
But this is a really nice looking card. Another Banzai card, this time a 2-cost and inkable. He is the Ferocious Predator, a 3/2 that quests for 2 vanilla.
I'm laughing because you start seeing pieces of animals around on the cards. It's a little bit dark.
It's very dark.
But Banzai is happy, so that's okay. That's the rule of the jungle.
Yeah. And now we'll look at Mateus' favorite hyena. This is Ed, Laughing Hyena. He does look like our dog.
Looks like our dogs.
He's a 3-cost uninkable, a 2/3 that goes for 1 with the ability Cause a Panic. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen damaged characters.
There you go. So he does the damage.
They've got to be damaged already.
Really?
Chosen damage character.
Come on.
So they're all synergizing with those characters that already have some damage on them. And
honestly, I can't wait to do a new theme deck, just literally about Lion King. So the good guys versus the bad boys. Hopefully, we get more knowledge as well. And
in Be Prepared, is Ed the one that says, "Is he sick?" Because that's my favorite line.
Is it him? No, I think it's the other one. I think it's Banzai.
Okay,
I think it's Banzai. I don't even know if Ed talks. I thought he just laughs.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Okay, so we have another Little John. We've seen quite a few Little Johns. This time Camp Cook. A 1-cost inkable, 0/4. That quests for 1 vanilla.
Not a bodyguard.
Not a bodyguard. A new start line for Emerald, or I think just in general, actually. I don't know if we have any 0/4s. And is this continuous art, Mateus?
So...
Is it?
I think it will be a continuous art. We're seeing online people putting that and the Robin Hood front set 3 into the Inklands.
Yes.
The one from the sleeves. I forgot the name now. I'm sorry. Side by side, but it doesn't actually match. So my guess is there's going to be a card right in the middle between Little John and Robin Hood, and I can't wait to see that.
Next up, we have a 1-cost inkable item, Obscurosphere. I think I'm saying that. Obscurosphere. And this item has Extractive Emerald. Pay 2, banish this item. Your characters gain ward until the start of your next turn. We've seen other spheres, the Vitalis spheres, and the like. But yes, all characters do gain ward until the start of your next turn. I think this is okay.
I think you can. I will struggle explaining, but I'm fairly sure you can do so many synergy with that.
I'm sure, yeah.
I actually think people will use this card. Ward is a big deal, depending on your situation.
Yeah, it's one of those that could potentially help you close a game. Like you could quest with a bunch of characters and then potentially use this to protect them all from being hit by targeted songs and actions. But
we'll see.
Yeah. Someone said this is how you get Bucky back. You use this item to give him wards. So you see how strong Bucky was if you need an item in order to give ward to him again.
At least you have to banish, so you can only use it once.
Yeah. Up next, we have another good fairy. This time, a Fauna, a 5-cost inkable, 3/7, quest for 2, vanilla. It is what it is, vanilla card.
They're vanilla. I think for me, it's just, if you see the different fairies, we're going to cover one in a bit, and we covered one last week. Yeah. They all have an ability, and then poor Fauna, they just give her the vanilla cake, maybe. Yeah. That's what it is on the screen. It's still beautiful, obviously. I think they still work together as a whole. I'm more interested on what they form as the trio. So let's look at the next fairy and talk about that.
Okay, the next one is Flora, also a good fairy, a 3-cost inkable, 2/4 that quests for 1, with the ability Fiddle Faddle. While being challenged, this character gains +2 strength, so reminiscent of the ability from the Enchantress, maybe with better strength and willpower, but less law gain.
Yeah. It's, again, I don't not much to say really for that. But yes, so this amazing art from Ariwelli. Again, let's pick the card from last week. Let me drop it here. Then we have all the 3 good fairies side by side, and we get this beautiful continuous art. And what is cool about it as well is each of them representing their own color. So you can see the thorns from Maleficent in red, going to blue, and then finally getting to Fauna at the end, which doesn't have much of a color. Again, it's all about the cake. But good job, Ariwelli. We love this. My only upset thing about that is the numbering of the cards. For some reason, they separated the last one from them, so you cannot put in your binder side by side. Who knows? We'll find out one day. But still, you can put out of the binder. It looks beautiful. Yeah.
And Amethyst will make a video for you very soon. Once the set's released, he'll make a video of all of the continuous art.
We have one, right?
We have one already.
Just here. We have to update. I might wait another 2 sets. And
there's so much continuous art.
There's a lot of continuous art. Just check our Instagram account anyway. We are posting that all the time. Yeah.
And up last in Emerald, we have Ulf Mime. He's a 4-cost inkable, 4/3 that quest for 2, with the ability Silent Performance. This character can't exert to sing songs, so because he has like a decent stat line, I would say decent, not great. Yeah. His downside is he can't sing, which is very in keeping for a mime who can't talk. And as Matteo said, yes, this is like Ariel on human legs from all the way back in set 1,
flipping the willpower and the strength.
So I don't know. I don't see Ulf getting played, but
I don't either. And I think the disadvantage as well with him compared to Ariel, not only just the character, most people won't know Ulf anyway. He's from Tangled, I think.
He is from Tangled.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think people won't know. I know he's from Tangled, sorry. But what I was trying to say is at least Ariel has the synergies with being the princess, with being a hero.
Princess. He only has ally.
This guy has a lie. I haven't seen anything with a lie.
One day they're going to introduce ally synergy.
And then he'll be amazing. He'll be able to talk at that point. But until then, just a card.
Okay, so we'll update the tracker now, slotting in all of those emerald cards. And that was a lot of emerald cards this time.
It's a lot of cards in general.
A lot of cards. I think in this video we're covering probably 25% of all of the reveals for Shimmering Skies. So it is a lot.
At least over 50 cards, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to now jump over to Ruby. Let's get on with this. And we're going to start off Ruby with Maximus, champion of the team.
So exciting.
He's a 6-cost inkable 3/5 that quest for 2, with the ability a reward worthy of a king. This one's pretty cool, actually. At the end of your turn, if you have a character in play with 5 strength or more, gain 2 law.
Maui.
If that character has 10 strength or more, gain 5 law instead.
New Gaston.
So it's a little bit like Flynn's ability, where you're gaining law if you have a character stronger than your opponent's character. Yes. And now Maximus joining the party to also boost up the strength. Yeah. I think as cool as it is, the thing that maybe is a little bit off-putting is the cost. 6 cost, it's quite expensive. Maybe it has to be for such a powerful effect.
It's interesting that it's at the end of your turn as well.
It is interesting that it's at the end of your turn.
Flynn Rider is at the start of your turn.
Yeah, because your opponent potentially can't do anything about it. I'm just thinking of like some fun ways you could do it. Like if you have a Sisu maybe, and then you make your opponent draw loads of cards, and then it powers up Sisu and you gain 5 law. That could be pretty crazy.
I'm thinking as well I was thinking more from the other side, because it's at the end of your turn. You also need to be careful. You might not want to lose the Maui that he could have lost in that turn if you had earned the lore already before. So you have to hold to that if you want to earn that.
That's true, and Maui's reckless. So
exactly. So you have to maybe you have to sing with the Maui to ensure that you can get that. So there's the pros and cons. But it's super cool. I do love that it's Maximus, and again, Flynn is just flying around. It's the perfect synergy between that and the characters we mentioned, Maui, Gaston, and so
there's a lot in Ruby that could pop this off. So I think that's really exciting.
I am very excited about this card.
Okay, so I asked for it in the previous video. If you remember, we do finally get Arthur Novice Sparrow, a 1-cost uninkable 2/3 with Reckless. Very happy to see this card. I think Arthur as a Sparrow is probably my favorite part of the Sword in the Stone. He's just the cutest. We're seeing him here. He is a hero, but not much to say about this. I think it's nice actually having a Reckless in this slot. I think the cheapest Reckless we had so far was a 2-cost, so we do now have the 1-cost Reckless.
Would people use them?
I think it's nice having the Reckless in that slot. It gives you some early game firepower, especially against aggro decks. But it does have some nice synergy with an action we're about to look at, which is...
Who's with me?
Who's with me? This is a 3-cost inkable action. Your characters gain +2 strength this turn. Whenever one of your characters with Reckless challenges another character this turn, gain 2 law. So there you go. You could have Arthur, give him +2 strength to bring him up to a 4, and then he can challenge and gain 2 law.
And that obviously that will work with Maui as well, which is a bomb on its own.
That'll work with Maui. That'll work with Gaston. Actually, the 4/2 Gaston.
So if I use this card in this turn and I have Arthur and Maui, both of them will get an effect, right? It's for everyone.
It's whenever.
I don't need to pick anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like all characters are getting +2 independent of being reckless, and if they are reckless, they also gain 2 lore when they challenge.
And it's whenever. So if you have 5 reckless characters, you challenge with all of them, then you're going to gain 10 lore.
Okay. So and if I could ready and challenge again, I can be getting lore and lore and lore. Okay, so that's very strong.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is the other card that we were mentioning, super rare, that is actually getting an action in the super rare slot. Because we had the song, as we said, with A Whole New World, and we had
the one we saw, which was
earlier. It's been too long already. And now we're looking at who's with me, so it's very cool to see actions also taking that slot, which is a big one.
And up next we have Glimmer versus Glimmer. It's a 4-cost uninkable action. Banish chosen character of yours to banish chosen character. So I
love this card.
Yeah, I think I'm on the fence.
So for my deck, I play a very spicy deck, as you probably heard many times, and Charlie's always judging my spiciness. But I love playing, for example, the Prince Eric, the what's the name, the expert helmsman, the one that's like, right? And that one, you're like doing that trade, right? You are most of the time the best strategy is defeat someone, die in the process, and then get banished in the process, and you banish something else. It's important that you do that process there. What I like about Glimmer vs. Glimmer is that I can see another function for Prince Eric, because in Quest for 2, I can actually use my turn to quest with Prince Eric. And then at that point, if I do want to take that additional threat, I use Glimmer vs. Glimmers on Prince Eric, which activates both the effect of Glimmer vs. Glimmers, but also Prince Eric. And I can still take the 2
So you can banish 2 characters
from the board. So I'm questing and banishing the 2 characters. Obviously, we have Dragonfire, which I think that's the part we have a problem, right?
Yeah, because Dragonfire it costs 1 more, but it allows you to banish anything unconditionally. You don't need a character on the board. Exactly. Yeah. I think the synergy with Eric is interesting. I do wonder whether you really want to sacrifice him in that sense, but
I do that all the time. I feel like it does work, and I could be wrong, but for the basing I do, and you can use that on Merlings as well, right? That's another way.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I think that's where this probably becomes a little bit more attractive, because you can get the law, you get the card or something from Merlin, but I don't know. I feel like I would just run Dragonfire if it was me, but
it is an inkable. Well, for your deck, 100% Dragonfire. For my deck, 100% that. I think that's the difference, right? Yeah. For the cards you're running your deck, it makes no sense to not use Dragonfire instead. For me, it's a cheaper Dragonfire, and it makes more sense.
There you go. Let us know. Did you agree with my test? Do you agree with Charlie?
I think I'm right. And Charlie's more expert, though, but we'll see.
But we're going to update the tracker. Not many for Ruby, but Ruby did get a lot already. It's over there.
Yeah, it's almost done.
And then we're going to head over to Sapphire. Okay, so we have the Queen, head of the council, a 4-cost, uninkable, 3/2 that quests for 2. She has ward, and she has the ability reunite the villains. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal each character named the Queen and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is definitely setting the stage for a Queen tribal deck where you have as many Queens out as you can. Yes. We're going to look at a card next, which is going to definitely take advantage of that.
Yes.
And I think it's really cool in the art. 2 things.
There's so many queens.
It's 2 things, there's so many queens. Like, so all of the different queen glimmers showing up to this council, of which this queen is the head. And then, is that a hidden Mickey on the table? You tell me, you're the expert.
Oh, it looks like. I'm not sure, but it looks like. I will overanalyze later.
Matthias will get out his Basil magnifying glass and see if there is a hidden Mickey. But it's a cool card, and I think it really buffs the next card we're going to look at. Okay, so we have the Queen, fairest in the land, a 5-cost inkable, a 2/6 that quests for 1. And she's a Floodbond, so she'll shift into 3. She comes with ward, which is always nice to have. And she has the ability Reflections of Vanity. This character gets +1 law for each character named the Queen you have in play when she quests.
Okay.
So in a queen tribal deck, there we go, you're going to get some payoff for all of your queens. There are quite a few queen characters in play. There are actually a crazy amount of queen characters in play.
Yes, but that is for each other queen.
Each
so
other
that's
queen,
the one.
exactly.
So the one you're floodboarding to or shifting to doesn't count.
Exactly.
It's for the other ones you have in play. Yeah.
It lives or dies by how strong a queen-only deck becomes. I'm not super sold on this one, but...
She has a big butt. You can come early at 3, right? So I think that's always... And she's... I actually think it could have potential. Again, I don't play blue.
Yeah.
As you probably know, I don't do blue. So I don't know much. This is the second Floodborn we get from the queen, right?
Oh, it is it?
Is that right? We have the yellow queen that you always use against me in the past.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah.
So that's the second Floodborn.
Yeah. So maybe in a blue amber deck or something, amber sapphire deck you could...
Maybe, yeah. So we shall see.
Yeah. I prefer the other queen.
I know, he used it so many times.
This card actually I think is quite cool. Another one from Robin Hood. Love to see it. This is the Sheriff of Nottingham. Old Moneybags. A 9-cost uninkable. A 5/7 that quests for 4. He has 2 abilities. The first one, every little bit helps. For each item you have in play, you pay 1 less ink to play this character. And he has support. So we've seen now many of these cards, these effects which are reducing the cost of characters based on certain things. Mm-hmm. I think in Sapphire Steel, we know it's very easy to get out quite a lot of items early in the game with the Vitalospheres? No, the Fortispheres and the Popsicles. You can get this guy out pretty soon. He's another target to tap with the dime.
Yeah.
And he's got a really good stat line. He's safe from Medusa. He is going to take a lot of effort to get out of the way from Steel. Another really cool card, Cusco Selfish Emperor. He's a 6-cost inkable 3/5 that quests for 2 with 2 abilities. First, outplacement. When you play this character, you may put chosen item or location into its player's inkwell, face down and exerted. And by invite only, pay for your other characters gain resist +1 until the start of your next turn. So I think first things first, the outplacement ability is a really good one for Sapphire. It is an ink color that can traditionally struggle a bit with locations, removing them because it often lacks a bit of damage. And if you're playing a mirror match, if you're playing against another Sapphire deck, then it allows you a way to get rid of the lucky dime in a way that Tamatoa then can't bring it back.
Yeah.
So I think that can be a really important in the mirror match, whether it's against Ruby or Steel.
Can you also do that on yourself, right?
Yes,
you could be the player, so there's that element as well. If you wanted to, I don't see why.
Yeah, if you need to ramp, if your opponent isn't running things you would need to deal with Cusco, you can use it to get rid of your own. The other ability by invite only is really cool. It gives you some support against Steel decks. So it's the nice flexibility of being able to give that.
So you
that
pay
resist.
4, right? You pay 4 ink, and then your other characters gain resistance to the start of the
And
next
you can use that multiple times. So if you have 12 ink,
yes,
if you want, you can give all of your characters resist +3, which can be a real headache for a lot of Steel decks. So I think this one is definitely one to watch just because of that dual utility. I think this card could be pretty good. Of course, he does get hit by Medusa. That's the only thing I will say, but at least his outplacement ability is on play, so you're still going to get the value from it.
I think this could get enchanted. I have a feeling. I think if they're going for the whole, we want the party theme. He is at the party, and it's really fun because I think he's letting people come in the party from the back, while Kronk is being the guard or the bodyguard on the other side.
And then next, another card from Sword in the Stone. We're seeing a lot of those today. Yeah. Finally, this is the set. We're getting even more. It is Merlin back from the Bermudas, a 4-cost inkable, a 1/4 that quests for 2, with the ability, Long Live the King, your character's name, Arthur, gain resist +1. So we are going to see some Arthur cards coming up. So there's a little bit of synergy there, but I feel like this is it's probably too niche to see much play.
No, I agree, but we do get some Arthas even in Steel, right?
So we do,
combination.
And he's a shift target for the brand new
that is true.
legendary
because we were saying, right, we needed more Merlin in Sapphire, so he's coming here. And don't forget, this card was announced by Lorcana Tactics, and then also was really fun, actually. The whole Bermudas thing. So check out their profile for more.
Next, we have Basil's Magnifying Glass. This is a 2-cost inkable item with the ability, find what's hidden, exert, pay 2 ink, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and put it into your hand, put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck.
In any order.
Very similar effect to what we saw with Scuttle from the previous set. I think this one is it's okay. I don't know if people are going to really be wanting to run this. No. Maybe in a very item heavy deck, it could see play, but yeah, I'm not so sure.
I don't know either. Yeah, I like that it's about Basil. I like that they're talking about the Hexo Crown, right?
Yeah,
you see that hint in the reveal trailer.
Yeah,
and I liked the announcement as
the
well.
reveal from Live Love Lorcana, the last Lorcana.
Live Love Lorcana. It was amazing. Yeah.
Next, so we're not sure about the name of this one. It's Stressa Melodia, which is same song in Italian. We're guessing that means it's song as old as rhyme, but it's a 2-cost inkable song. Remove up to 2 damage from chosen character, and yeah, we've seen a lot of removing damage cards now.
But not in a lot. Some in
we've seen some.
Sapphire,
but
right?
yeah, maybe Grandpappy will finally see his day.
I wish this wasn't enchanted. I'm gonna say that,
yeah,
but being a common card, I doubt it. But
it
would be so beautiful.
Okay, this is a card that I'm a bit more excited about. This is Tipo Growing Sun, a 2-cost inkable, a 1/2 that quests for 1, with the ability Measure Me Again. When you play this character, you may put a card from your hand into your inkwell face down and exerted, which is pretty cool. So could this card be a replacement for 1 jump ahead? Of course, 1 jump ahead, you're doing it blind from the top of your deck, so you are sacrificing a bit of card advantage. But we did see, sorry, I'm going to have to remember the name.
Chicha?
We did see Chicha, who allows you to draw a card if you put a second card this turn into your inkwell. So Tipo can be putting the card into the inkwell, and then she can allow you to draw, which I think is actually a really cool.
It's really cool, the synergy with the 3 of them, right? Because there's the sister as well, all in Sapphire. So it is nice, and he's so cute.
He is cute. And now we're going to update the Sapphire trackers. You can see all of the cards slotting in there. Sapphire is another color I think has done pretty well this time around.
For me, Sapphire and Emerald was... Well, to be fair, I was feeling like that, but now Amber is
Amber as well,
I'm going to comment on the other end. I think the color that did the worst was Ruby. That's what I can say so far. I think
you might be right as well. So we'll go over to Steel. I think another color that struggled a bit so far, but hopefully it's going to get its time in the sun. Okay, so we're looking at the first of 2 legendaries for Steel today. This is Jafar, Tyrannical Hypnotist, a 6-cost inkable, 0/7 that quests for 2. He has the Challenger 7, so when challenging he gains +7 strength, and he has the ability Intimidating Gaze. Opposing characters with cost 4 or less can't challenge at all. Just like they can't challenge. All they can do is casting.
It's not challenge hand either. It just can't challenge.
So that's interesting because it really can lock down your opponent's board, especially if they're an aggro deck. I mean, in an aggro deck, you probably don't want to be challenging that much anyway. But
it's a shame he's not a Floodborn to come earlier, right?
But it's actually interesting because there are a lot of, like, if you think of a lot of decks and their curve of ink, a lot of them have characters that are 2, 3, 4 cost, and then not many characters that are over that. So potentially could be quite impactful. I think the funny thing, maybe not so funny about Jafar, is he can be banished with Brawl. He can be banished with the baby Sisu.
With anything.
Anything that banishes
based on low strength. That.
Exactly. Yes. So that is the downside of him. But I think he probably needs that downside because it is quite a...
It is. I just can't see. Well, we'll see. Show us how to use this card.
I still don't think it's the best legendary we're seeing this set. I don't even think it's the best legendary we're seeing for Steel.
It is cool, the hints for the Broken Crown, the Hexo Crown, because there's other cards you see or you see in this review that talks about that. Yeah. So is he the villain? So we're questioning that.
We're now questioning everything.
Everyone is a villain.
Because I said earlier, I thought it was Yzma because of the silhouette in the video.
But you see his hat is
with the feather on the top.
It's a similar shape. So we shall see.
So we're going to look at Simba, son of Mufasa. Finally, everyone's been asking for it. A Floodborn Simba. He's a 6-cost inkable, a 3/5 that quests for 1. He can shift in at 4, and he has the ability Impressive Raw. When you play this character, banish chosen a location or item. Very cool effect, similar to Benja, except you can also banish a location, something which Steel can struggle with.
Yeah.
Similar effect to Rise of the Titans, which I think was a 3-cost, allowing you to do the same thing. So it's nice to have that. It's on play as well.
What is the cost of Benja? Do you remember?
Benja's a 3-cost.
Okay, so this is a turn after, but you can take a location as well.
Yes.
And it's a better card, I think.
I think it is. Benja quests for a bit more, but Simba has beefier stats. So yeah. Cool to see the Floodborn Simba finally make it into the game.
So beautiful, yeah.
Next up, we're going to look at Plate Armor. This is a 4-cost, an inkable item with the ability Well Crafted. Exert this item, chosen character gains resist +2 until the start of your next turn. So this is a mouse armor times 2, giving you the 2 resist rather than 1 resist for the
cost times
the double
2
cost.
well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't think this one is going to see much play, to be honest.
I don't recognize the franchise, do you? Does any of you in the comment section know?
I think it's from Sword in the Stone.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to see play. Mouse Armor barely sees any play.
Yeah, there were a few decks running it at some point, but I think it's probably too expensive. Yeah.
And there's so many other cards that are giving you the resist now. Yeah.
Exactly. A card that we're very, very high on. This is Hey Protective Rooster. 5 cost, inkable, a 4/5 that quests for 2 with Bodyguard. Super cool. And he has the flavor text. Who's the butt snack now? Which is a great throwback to set 1. Hey butt snack. I love to see him getting this upgrade.
It's just so weird to see him so buffed up, right? I'm like wondering, did he eat a Kakamora and he dresses clothes? I don't know, but I'm all for that. It's just amazing.
In terms of stats, he has a Bodyguard. I still think I probably prefer Shempo in this slot, just because Shempo has a more willpower, so he can defend your characters for longer. But Hey does quest for 2, so allows you to gain some lore. But I think probably, if you're looking for a 5-cost Bodyguard, lore is probably not as relevant.
I agree.
And we did talk about it. So we have the first of 2 Arthurs, the baby Arthur, Wart. He's a 2-cost inkable 2/2 that quests for 2 vanilla, but really he is there, and we'll jump straight over to it, as a shift target for Arthur King Victorious. A 7-cost uninkable 3/6 that quests for 3. He is a Floodborn, so he can shift in at 5, and he has the ability Knighted by the King. When you play this character, chosen character gains Challenger +2 and Resist +2, and can challenge ready characters this turn. It's a lot there. So it basically gives you, when you play Arthur, a gigantic bomb to then take down potential opponent threats, especially those ones that are kind of maybe not exerting in order to keep taking advantage of their effects. So he definitely helps dealing with Ward. He is coming down at 5, which is kind of expensive if you need to deal with those effects, but maybe it's okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much giving to a character all that strength and making sure that they don't take any damage on the process, right? And dealing everything.
And still questing for 3.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Like, I think it's one of my favorite now. Every week we say there's a favorite, but this art is beautiful.
This art is gorgeous.
A little bit of trivia. I don't know how much of that it's on the official Facebook page for Arthur, when they were posting and revealing the card, they actually said that the letter, it's almost like he wrote a letter to the citizens of Lorcana to say, the actual citizens of Lorcana, not the channel, but maybe for the channel, to say that thanks for saving Lorcana, or how we call the word of Lorcana from Ursula's attack, and that's why they decided to throw a party. Yeah. So that's kind of a conclusion of set 4 and the beginning of set 5 with Shimmering Skies party. Don't quote me on that. I saw on Facebook. I'm sure I saw it on an official Facebook page, but check it out.
If you saw it on Facebook, it has to be true, right?
Yes.
And our last card today, and I dare say, probably the most powerful card we're looking at today. We have Pete, Game Referee, a 3-cost inkable 3/3 that quests for 1 with the ability Whistle. When you play this character, opponents can't play actions until the start of your next turn.
And it's an uncommon.
It's an uncommon card. So first things first, we said there have been no good Pete cards. Finally, I think not just a good Pete card.
It's like it's laughing our face.
An absolutely insane Pete card. I think this one is definitely going to be a 4 of in every aggro deck, because basically you can flood the board and then play Pete to basically put your opponent into a check where you now need to deal with all of my characters. You can't use your actions, you can't use your songs, and if you can't, then I win the game. So I feel like he is almost going to become a win condition in a lot of decks. It's in steel as well, so I think we might see the rise of like some very strong steel aggro decks, maybe steel amber, steel amethyst. But yeah, I think he has a lot of utility as well. You can drop him on turn 4 to stop a whole new world or grab your swords. You can drop him on turn 6 to stop a Be Prepared. And there are very, very few ways to get around exerted characters currently without the use of songs and actions. So really, maybe the abilities that allow you to challenge ready characters are going to become more relevant. The Arthur we just saw, the Cinderella Stout-Hearted, Namari, things like that. Of course, all of those cards are in steel. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some more effects that allow you to deal with characters without actions.
Yeah.
And of course, it does make things like Sisu, the legendary, more powerful. It makes Medusa more powerful because they're one of the few things that are going to be able to get around Pete's ability in that sense. But I think a lot of decks currently outside of Ruby and Steel are going to struggle a lot to deal with your opponent's board when they slam down a piece.
Yeah. No, I don't have much to add, to be honest. I am scared of the card. I'm just shocked by the rarity.
But
I'm glad that Pete is taking the spotlight.
Finally, he's got a good card. And I do think like you compare this to something like Prince John's Mirror. This is an insanely powerful card, but I think there are counterplays to it versus Prince John's Mirror, which I think
for some
is just really bad, really awful to deal with. I'm sorry, I'm still complaining about that card. I'm salty. But I think this card is fantastic, and I'm sure people are going to be playing a lot of Pete.
Should we populate our
That's it. Let's update Steel. The last update for the day. That was a lot of
cards to go over. Hopefully you're not getting tired of our faces.
Thanks for sticking with us. And there we go. That's all the cards we have for you today. Let us know down in the comments. Do you agree with us? Is Prince John's Mirror an absolute monster that's coming to the game, or are we overreacting?
And are you excited with Maximus as much as I am? Just let us know down in the comment section.
Absolutely. And if you want to discuss all of these card reveals with us, be sure to join our Discord server where we're talking about everything that's coming up in Lorcana.
Everything Lorcana related. The link is just down in the description.
Come and hang out with us over there.
I do wanted to remind you as well, we're always on top of every single card announcement as soon as they come out. So come check ourselves on Instagram. You'll be able to get all the news in real time in between those new videos that we do.
Yeah.
So come join us also in the description.
And finally, a huge shout out to our YouTube members. It's growing every day. It's actually crazy. We still can't believe so many of you are choosing to support us, but we appreciate it with all of our hearts. It really helps us improve the quality of what you're watching today. If you yourself are interested in becoming a YouTube member, you can click the join button down below for all the details and learn about how you can support us and become an honorary Inkborn hero.
Thank you so much.
And that is it. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with us. This was a long one. And until next time, happy questing.